I said yes to that. And I gotta tell you why. Because I know Jamie Lee Curtis from all these different things, but I did not know her reputation as a Scream Queen. When you brought this idea up, I'm like, that's a really good idea to tie it into this Halloween series. Bring it on. I don't know anything about those 3 movies besides Jamie Lee Curtis is in them, and I am looking forward to it immensely. And you can all hear me, Stuart, and Arnie talk about that as part of our Platinum series in our fall donation drive.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, our donation drive is going on now. Our fall donation drive, our first show, came out last Friday. The horror classic that, Stuart, you said on the show that is probably more considered a foreign film than an American film, even though it was made with American studio money and it's in English, Suspiria.
Yeah, it's a trilogy of witch films that has quite a reputation in Europe, as does its maker, Dario Argento. We're covering all 3 of those films. This Friday, we get to the second chapter, Inferno, about a second witch. The first one, Suspiriorum, she's in Germany. This one will be in New York with lots of rats and cats.
And then starting after all of this horror stuff, we will have a really long gold level as we do all of M. Night Shyamalan's horror and thriller films, starting with The Sixth Sense and ending in January with his version of the Avengers, I guess, when we get to Glass.
What a comparison.
I mean, I guess he combines the universe of Unbreakable with Split and building up to a new movie that, I'll put it this way, I never miss one of his films, but it's not necessarily because I'm a fan. I have grown to appreciate his missteps maybe even more than his successes, and there will be brown arrows, if not scarlet red arrows, when we go through his filmography, but I am looking forward to revisiting it because, man, some of those films are just, you can't believe an adult made them.
I just really am looking forward to the twist at the end of Glass, which I'm just praying is Marky Mark and Mel Gibson and Jaden Smith all show up and all of his films are in the Shyamalaniverse.
Maybe it will be that way, but I hope you can join us for our whole retrospective. It's silver level again. It's Suspiria trilogy, 3 mothers, plus the new remake of Suspiria, and we're throwing Phenomena in there too, a Dario Argento film with Donald Pleasance and Jennifer Connelly from the 80s. And then gold level will be 11 M. Night Shyamalan movies, Sixth Sense, all the way to Glass. And then in October, timed around the release of the new Halloween, Brock, Arnie, and I will be going through 1980s Jamie Lee Curtis horror movies. Again, The Fog, Prom Night, Terror Train.
That sounds great, and I know one thing we're not going to be doing for quite some time is probably coming back to the Predator series, so I think this is probably it, but you know what? Those could be famous last words. Arnie, you never know. Maybe Mickey Mouse on one of his not-so-scary Halloween parties in the Walt Disney World in a couple years will bring out the Predator, and they'll march down Main Street, USA, and decide, you know what? We do need another Predator movie. They have that whole streaming service they're coming out with. Maybe they'll put a direct Disney After Dark thing and have a new Predator movie on there. You just never know.
I never say never. I mean, I've learned that they can make a sequel to anything. They made a sequel to House of the Dead. And that's what we're covering next week. We got the House of the Dead series. We've been covering those great video game to movie adaptations I've enjoyed so much. And we finally reached the apex of that creative inspiration with Uwe Boll's House of the Dead. Arnie, don't cry.
I'm so close. Oh my God. It's like this movie we reviewed, The Predator, does not deserve a green arrow. And then you mentioned House of the Dead. I'm like, can I watch The Predator again instead?
Yes, there's always something worse. And next week we reach it, I think. We actually find it. And its sequel the week after that. So again, House of the Dead 2, Predator 5, it could all happen. I believe it.
I'm so glad I'm not in that series with you guys. But you know what? I'm enjoying listening to them. Sometimes it takes some really bad movies to have some really great episodes, right, guys?
That's what they tell me, is that they love to hear me scream. Well, House of the Dead. I'll be screaming.
Well, thank you both for joining me today. I had a lot of fun talking to the Predator with you two. I will talk to you in a few weeks as we just discussed. That's it for us. We ain't got time to bleed. Thank you for joining us for this episode in the Predator Retrospective Series.
This stuff will make you a goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus, just like me.
Please come back to NowPlayingPodcast.com each week for a new movie review.
Come on in, you fuckers. Come on in.
Also at NowPlayingPodcast.com, you can download our podcast where we cover such series as Terminator, Rambo, RoboCop, The Avengers, Alien, Death Wish, Die Hard, and hundreds more.
This is getting better by the minute.
Venganza Media Incorporated is not affiliated with, and this podcast has not been prepared, approved, or licensed by any entity that created the film analyzed herein. All movie clips and music included in this podcast are the intellectual property of their respective copyright holders. They are included here for the purpose of review, and no infringement is intended.
I don't think he gives a shit.
Now Playing Podcast is an exclusive trademark of and may not be used without the express written permission of Venganza Media Incorporated. Now Playing Podcast's Predator Retrospective Series is a Venganza Media production, copyright 2018, and no part of this show may be reproduced, repurposed, or redistributed without the written permission of Venganza Media Incorporated. All rights reserved.
I ain't got time to bleed.
The Now Playing Predator series is edited by Arnie.
I wouldn't wish that on a broke dick dog.
Just a quick note, Arnie. There are 3 kids in Lethal Weapon, but I think your point is valid.
Yeah, they're
not the main characters.
They're not focused on. Their background.
Yeah. Just want to make sure. Well, Rhiann is, but she's still a teenager. But I get your point. Yeah, right. Fine. Just want to make sure that you're going to get some letters on that one. Just to let you know.
Well, that blooper will now ward them off.
Letters at that, like handwritten.
I got to go to the P.O. box for the first time in like a year.
Look at the sentence structure of this horrible review. Thank you. What you're saying, the comparison of, you said Simon and Garfunkel? Who did you say? You said,
Eddie Murphy and Arsenio, not Simon and Garfunkel.
Well, there you go. So Eddie Murphy and Eddie Murphy himself could be the Shane Black in this scenario, in that Eddie Murphy's later career is not the same thing.
You didn't...
I disagree with your Michael Jackson Predator, Michael Jackson thriller.
He was a predator. The predator planet is becoming inhabitable for them. Inhabitable.
Uninhabitable.
You know, if you already have Yvonne Shavosky on speed dial or whatever, I'm sorry, bad. I'm in 87 all of a sudden with speed dial. You can all hear me and Brock. I'm Brock.
You are Brock.
Yes. You can hear me.
But I don't know how close that is to a city where you can find a cantina and have like a scene from Three Amigos where you flash a gun and make everybody leave.
I'm sorry. I'm picturing your friend starting singing My Little Buttercup now. You son of a bitch. Why did you bring up Three Amigos?
I could probably get him to do it for a blooper for the show.
Go on, sorry.
My little buttercup has the sweetest smile. Dear little buttercup, won't you stay a while? Come with me where moonbeams paint the sky, and you and I might linger in the sweet by and by. Oh, dear little buttercup, with your eyes so blue. Oh, little buttercup, you're a dream come true. You and I will settle down in a cottage built for two. Oh, dear little buttercup, I love you, and I love now playing